So good afternoon, and thank you for joining the conversation around the Savannah water cooler. And today's guests are the hosts from All Things Savannah, and it's actually your first anniversary from when you launched your show a year ago, All Things Savannah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a great year.
Yeah, the year has gone by very fast.
Mm-hmm.
I have loved watching your progression of how you got started and where you are today. Tell us about what All Things Savannah is.
Well,
All Things Savannah.
About a year and a half ago, Frank and I were chatting. We've been friends for a while, and thought that due to the nature of our personality types, which is curious, we just can't get enough. We love people and we love Savannah. We thought, what a great idea. Let's put together a talk show and talk with people from our neighborhoods, from our community, and maybe not the big names, but everybody else who contributes so much to our community. And so we started to make a list, and the list got longer and longer and longer. We started to do these interviews with folks on YouTube, and it just was fantastic. We have had so much fun.
We've had so many really cool guests on there too.
Oh my goodness. We are filled with joy because of all of the folks who we have had on, and most people say yes. You know, most people want to do the show.
Why wouldn't they?
Well, you know, people are really busy. We know that everybody who's been on has a very tight schedule, and to get them for an hour, you know, it takes more than just the 30 minutes of the show. It takes the build up and the prep and all of that. But they are great to give us the time, and we learn so much, and we have connected with the community on so many different levels. It has just been, I can't tell you how rewarding the whole experience has been. It's been challenging, but very rewarding.
So I want to personally thank you for getting our GRSP Rotary student on your show. Here's a picture of Marco. So Marco is from Serbia, Belgrade, Serbia, and he was on for about a half hour talking about his experience with you guys. That meant a lot. And I know there were a lot of his friends from Serbia watching. So that's the beauty of having the YouTube channel open to the world.
So wasn't he amazing though, in terms of his own life and what he was finding with his American experience, you know, everything from monster trucks to, you know, doing some art shows and some cultural events. I mean, he just was a great look at someone who's a young person from another country.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's very close too.
I know. I always said, Marco, you're going to be the president of Serbia someday. So smart and so composed. Yes, absolutely. So tell us, so where did you get started? Where was your first interview?
So we did, Danielle actually worked an arrangement through her amazing skills where we ended up at the Bluff Hotel in the historic district at the Twin Spades Lounge. We met Sonny Kurtz, who's one of the marketing folks with the hotel. And Danielle made an arrangement where we'd actually go over and see the space, because it just so happened that we were looking and they were interested in hosting us. So we went over and saw it, and we immediately liked it. And we decided that's where we wanted to do the show. We knew that the historic district was really important if we were going to do a show about Savannah. It just met all the criteria. So we lined it up, and we started looking at that list that Danielle mentioned earlier, you know, which guests, who first, how would we do it? And Danielle said, I have this great guy who is a realtor who is just amazing. He's a great personality. And why don't we see if we can get him first? And that's really how I think Bradford Moody ended up on our show November 15th, a year ago today.
Mm-hmm.
So here, I'm going to pull up Marco again, but this is the Bluff Hotel, right? Yeah.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, that is the Twin Spades Lounge where we do the show. That's where we have been doing the show for the year. We have a couple of places where we decided to step out and do some stuff around town, but we basically do the show from that location.
So who else did you have on this year?
We've had over 30 shows. So we've had over 30 guests.
That's right.
And we've had professors and sculptors. We've had an archaeologist. We've had historians. We've had artists and coffee shop owners. Probably, I'm just looking over the list here. One of my one of my favorite interviews was AJ Gray. She's the lead singer for an all-female band called the Maxines, and she was phenomenal. She was so much fun. She looks like Joan Jett or some sort of punk rocker woman. And so she looks like she could bite your head off, but she is so darling. She is the loveliest person. And to get a chance to talk with her was great. She's also an artist. So it was a perfect example of what these chats are all about. It's a half an hour, and we get to talk to people about who they are, what they do, and why they love Savannah. What does Savannah do for them? What have they brought to Savannah? But what is it about Savannah that brought them here and makes it so special to them? So that characterizes sort of the format of our talk, but getting to dig a little deeper with people is what we enjoy so much. So she was one of my favorites.
So have you had any setbacks or anything that you had to overcome, your first year of business? I mean, I'm always interested from that point of view, also.
It's been challenging. We didn't, Danielle, I'll just lead off and you can fill in. The show was conceived originally as a radio show. We were thinking, we'll take an hour of time if we can get it on a local station, and we might segment it and do a little bit of culture, a little bit of sort of headline type, whatever's kind of currently happening, and maybe a third segment of some kind. And so we worked that format to the point where I think we had that pretty much down, and we came very close to starting a radio show. And basically, there were snags that developed with the management of the station that involved the content of the show. So we just felt that we needed to go a different direction in that. And so we decided to pivot. And eventually we pivoted one more time to doing our own show on YouTube, which would allow us to keep the content as ours and have, pretty much editorial control over the show. That's really what we were also looking for. But it allowed us to open the whole thing up for ourselves, but that meant we were also responsible for it from start to finish. So we've had technical issues that we have constantly been overcoming. But, as you know, Marjorie, doing a show like you do here, there are always technical issues, and they tie up an awful lot of time and a lot of energy. So I think, but we have, we've pushed through all of them. We've done a lot of on-location shows, live streams. We had started as a live stream, and then we decided that we weren't getting enough bounce off of that for all the effort involved, and we decided to go to a recorded program. So those are just a couple of the initial startup challenges that we had.
And SBDC, were they involved? Small Business Development Center?
Yes, the UGA. Yes. So Betsy Brownlee has helped us.
Shout out because, man, every new business that I quietly mentor from behind, I'm like, connect with SBDC. Free mentoring.
Betsy has been amazing. In fact, Danielle can tell you, we just saw her just a few days ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good. She's just a fount of information and just as anxious to see you succeed as she's just your biggest cheerleader. But we've been fortunate to, despite our challenges, we've also had a lot of lovely cheerleaders help us on, and people who have just been very gracious and generous to us, yourself included, Marjorie.
That's for sure.
And Bo Bowen has been phenomenal and very generous again with his help. And we had a gentleman. Who was the gentleman that Bill
Lucas?
Not Bill Lucas, or other Bill.
Let me think.
He was our business coach for a while as well.
Oh, right. He's with SCORE.
SCORE. That's right. I'm sorry. Shout out to SCORE.
Absolutely.
I'm going to shout outs on here. Hold on. Okay.
Yeah, you were a SCORE person too, Marjorie, weren't you? Or maybe you still are.
I've been a SCORE mentor or volunteer for over 20 years, but I just can't do everything anymore. So anyhow, I'm not officially right now, but shout out to SCORE. Shout out to SBDC. I'm writing these on here.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
have all been just amazing to us because we need the guidance in a lot of different places at any given time. So sometimes it's legal advice, sometimes it's technical assistance. We've had a lot of help, as we mentioned, I think at the beginning, from the Savannah Technical College, the film program over there. They have been terrific. They gave us the interns. They allowed us to sort of work the folks into our routine and give them some advice that we could provide in terms of their careers, which we were happy to do. And I think the partnership was really a good one. And so that's really what I think, as we cross that threshold of 1 year, partnerships have been so valuable to us. We want to deepen them and broaden them as we go into 2025.
Savannah has actually been ranked as one of the most small business friendly communities in the country. And I feel that it's because when there is a new business that starts, the Savannah community gives you a hug. And, you're just part of the family now. And we want to, if you succeed, we all succeed. So
Yes.
it is
Very much feel
great
that.
to do business.
The chamber,
Shout out to the chamber.
Commerce has just been open arms. I mean, don't you feel that way, Frank? I mean,
I do.
people have come up to us at coffee events from the chamber, like we are their best friends that they haven't seen in years. I mean, it's just hilarious. It's so funny, and it's so enjoyable, and it just epitomizes what Savannah is all about to us.
But that's the feeling of the show, Marjorie, that we feel like it is reciprocal right on down the line. So when we're out meeting people, there are lots of hugs and, opportunities.
It's Savannah, though.
Exactly.
You don't shake hands, you hug.
Absolutely right. It's so true. And even, in some of the, we're rolling out a whole bunch of new material. I don't want to get too far ahead of where we're going on the show, but we're going to roll out a lot of material. And one part of that production stands out in my mind. We were at a local bookstore, and one of the folks hasn't seen us for a little bit. And we dropped in to Books on Bay. And I know Danielle knows this. Betsy, the owner, was there. Mm-hmm. And it was like a love fest. And she was just so adorable and so loving. And she gave us a double hug the first time we saw her, one of us in each arm. It was great.
Betsy Hoyt Thetford?
Yes.
What's again?
Yes.
I met her when I did the Dale Carnegie class many years ago, probably 30 years ago. Yeah, she was one of the trainers. Yeah.
Oh, she's just her best.
I get it. I see that.
Yeah.
That's going back. Oh my God.
But that's the universal response. I think that's, so many people have taken us under their wing or encouraged us or, just wanted to know how we're doing. I mean, people we haven't had a chance to see in a little bit. They want to see how the show is going and where we're at, what we're doing.
The fact that you made it to 1 year is much better. I mean, so many businesses don't make it. The majority of small businesses don't make it to 1 year. It's hard. And there is a statistic out there that the more mentors you have, if you have a mentor, you're going to make 20% more money. There is a statistic out there. So, good job with reaching out and making sure you have mentors. But I didn't know we go down this direction on the water cooler, but let's get back to your show.
Well, I just want to mention one other thing, as long as we're on the subject. It is, in addition, I think, to the community, the mentoring, I still believe, and I think I said this a year ago, you have to have the right person if you're going to partner. All partnerships, as we know in life, don't work well. You think they might work, but it's hard. It's hard sometimes. And you lean on the other person quite a bit. Yeah. And I think we're partnered correctly. At least that's my perspective. I really think that there's a lot of cooperation and sharing of responsibility. And we're both running heavy schedules with the rest of our lives. And this is not a full-time job for us, although it is a full-time job. And so there are times when Danielle picks up the load and she's, juggling 5 other things. And there are times when that happens with me, but each of us is there for the other person. And that's very rewarding on those days when your tank is getting close to empty.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, so where do you, I've got some really cool pictures of your latest shoot with a big time photographer that came down from New York City. You want to talk about that?
Take that, Frank. Yeah.
So a good friend of mine from the New York area, Ken Gordon, who has been shooting professional for news organizations in New York City, the TV stations, recently came down to say hi, and he wanted to help us with the show. We had started talking about some work that we're doing on a demo for the show and some other production work, and he said he'd come down and he'd help us out. So we lined up a kind of what I think is sort of a blockbuster week of work to try to make his week here as productive for us as possible in between some leisure time for him. And that really worked out, I think, pretty well. So we did a bunch of shows, and one of them.
Are you allowed to say where?
Yeah, I think we can say where.
Yeah.
Right, Danielle, you want to do it?
Yeah, so we got a nice exclusive tour to the new Civic Center. That's not Civic Center, it's Convention Center. I'm sorry.
Right.
Is this the right picture here?
Yes.
Yes.
And this, as everyone in town knows, has been simmering away for a while, and everyone is keenly waiting for the opening of the facility. It was beautiful inside. Now, when I think of convention centers, I just think of great, big, giant indoor stadium type things. It not fairly, bereft of beauty. Doesn't have a lot of things going on bereft. That's not what I meant. But anyway, you know what I mean. Just not beautiful spaces. And this space is actually beautifully designed. So that excited me from a design, artistic standpoint, architectural standpoint. Right. And then to speak with Kelvin Moore, who is phenomenal, just a great guy. Frank, just...
Oh, he's amazing. He's amazing. And he is, for a man who has a construction project that is well into the tens of millions of dollars, he is as cool as a cucumber. He is a funny guy, as Danielle was talking about. He's warm and gregarious. I mean, he's just so terrific. And he was a wonderful host, and his entire team, Danielle will back me up on this, they're phenomenal.
Yeah.
So you guys actually filmed some interviews there, right?
We did. Yeah. So we
All right,
did.
I'm going to pull up one of them. Let me find them. Hold on a second. Ready? Here we go. There's one. Hold on.
Right.
Wait a minute. Is that's the same one?
It is. Okay. They look similar, but that's a different show.
Yeah.
So there we are at a little pub table there in one of the hallways of the convention center, very close to the new space. And we decided what we would do is about 15 or 20 minutes of a straight interview with Kelvin, just to sort of get the basics of the expansion. And he had every detail we needed and then some.
Is that him?
That is Kelvin on the left-hand side.
Oh, okay.
And as you can see, he's a very warm, welcoming, comfortable person. And his folks couldn't do enough for us. They were just so terrific to us in the production part of this and leading up. We had conversations weeks in advance about, how we could do this, because remember, they've got events going on even as we're doing the show. They're right. Hosting 2 or 3 events at the same time.
Wow, that's super cool. I don't know anybody else who's gotten a sneak peek.
I'm not aware of anybody else.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. Well, again, and what we're probably going to do, we're not sure yet because it hasn't reached the editing phase, but we have so much material, both outside the convention center and inside, that we're going to roll it out and figure out, is it good as a 2-parter, or should we do it as one piece, or how should we actually do it? But I think everybody's going to be surprised by how amazing these pictures are, and it's very high quality video.
Well, congratulations. What a nice way to celebrate your first anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and
that's part of the dream.
It's today. The actual date is November 15th.
The actual date is November 15th. Pardon me.
Seriously. Is that why we wanted to do it today? Probably. Right?
I think it just happened this way, didn't it? Or did you plan this, or did we plan it?
By the way, that's a press release. Just saying.
I'm just saying that it's coming your way.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
So we've got a whole host of new programs coming.
Okay.
They are similar and different. Some of them are out in the field. Danielle can kind of maybe fill in a couple of them, because one of them involves something she loves, which just hit the YouTube channel, which is wine.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I'm
Well,
pulling it up here.
two things I love. One, yeah, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a
Italy. No.
yeah, that's right. Well,
It goes without
well,
saying.
books. We've got a little book thing coming out. Savannah's most beloved bookstores, which just a little thing that we did because I think our bookstores in Savannah are just so exceptional and they're what every book lover wants to see. So we did something on that. And then we did do something on wine, which was terrific. Dana Lee has the Savannah Wine Institute. And it's a darling little spot in what streets?
So she's at East Broad and East Henry, right at the intersection there.
And she can actually do wine education. So it's not just, let's all get our paintbrushes out and do some pottery and drink wine. She knows her wine. She's a wine educator. And it was great having her on. We had 3 wines that we tried with potato chips. And yes, with potato chips. Now, I wasn't all that thrilled about the idea of potato chips because I'm not a big fan of flavored chips. What a brilliant idea, though. It was.
Why? I mean, how does that work? I guess
it's all about the salt and the sweetness and a few other elements, I guess, right? Danielle?
Yeah, that work with the elements in the wine. And the brilliance of it is that many of us think that you need to have, with a lovely bottle of wine, you need to have lovely food. And the idea of being able to rip open a bag of Lay's potato chips and have a nice bottle of wine just seems, sort of foreign to many of us, but it was such a perfect example of how the more you know about wine, the better you can enjoy it. And she was just great. It was great having her. New York girl with some Savannah roots and history coming back and setting up a business here. So it was very neat.
There's a big connection with New York in here. Our mayor's from New York. Yeah.
Oh, is he? I didn't know that.
I think so. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
And if you take a look at that show, she mentions that she started this business just before COVID hit. She sort of began to roll it out. And I remember her saying to us, she was going to do something and she decided she was going to sort of wait the weekend, let the holidays pass, and then she was going to pick it up again. And of course, that's when COVID pounded us. And it's amazing because that's a good example of resilience. She's here and her business is thriving and she's having a great time.
That's really nice that you had her on. Has that show been posted to YouTube or not yet?
That has been posted. Yep, it's up there. Yeah.
Good. Are you allowed to talk about upcoming stuff or not yet? Do we need to?
Sure. I think we can talk about a few others. Everybody loves trees if you're in Savannah. So Zoe Rinker, who is with the Savannah Tree Foundation, and I know you know her.
I'm on their board. I didn't realize y'all connected. Awesome.
We did, and we did a show from Forsyth Park. We're better to do a show about trees. So it was a very informative. Again, Danielle and I think I can speak for both of us. We learned so much when we do these shows. And she went through some of the stages that they have been in and where they're headed in their future. She's got an interesting position about the preservation of trees, and it's not as hard line as you might think. She is practical in a lot of ways too and understands laws as well. So there's a lot more to it than just saying I love a tree and let's have as many of them as we can and hold them all together.
She's so smart. She went to Yale.
Yeah,
I think she told us. Yeah.
She got a background in city planning.
Yeah.
So she understands the whole, and she doesn't get lost in the woods.
Good for you.
Oh gosh, that was terrible.
Send me that link because I like to push it out on community headlines. Can you find that interview?
We haven't posted it yet.
So when you do, definitely.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. Yeah. So that's going to be in production and that's coming out probably in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So December 4th is our next community headline. So if it's before that, if not January.
It will be before that. I have pretty good confidence in that.
Okay. Yeah. I'd love to.
And then there's another interview that I think Danielle might be better talking about because she really was pushing on this one. This is Nick.
So Nick Palumbo, the irresistible, effervescent Nick Palumbo, I ran into him, not physically ran into him, although it could have been that way because he was on his bike. And if anyone in the community knows Nick Palumbo, he's got a fantastic bike, thanks to the fact that he and his wife had a bike building business for a while.
I did not know that.
We had him, and he's just a Savannah treasure. I mean, all I can say is I hope Nick stays in Savannah forever because he is building a legend. He's a legend already, I think. He was just so much fun to talk with, and happy person, happy outlook, and really interesting background too. And what he brings to Savannah just in the way of service, I think is really, really impressive.
Whoops, I didn't spell his whole name. All right. Well,
Nick P.
Nick P is probably why he goes by that, probably.
Yeah.
You know, Nick is a great example too, I think, of the multi-dimensional backgrounds of people.
Yes.
They're not one-dimensional here in town. There's so many different elements to people and interests. Nick has so many interests. I don't know where the guy finds time to sleep or eat. And so the show that we've done with him covered a lot of different topics, you know, some of the expected government topics, but a lot of it was not. A lot of it was really about what his interests are. He's a postcard collector. I just drop a hint there about that. That's interesting. You wouldn't necessarily know. There aren't too many of those folks around, at least from my experience these
my
days.
friend Betty Darby collects postcards too.
Oh.
Yeah.
My wife Carol collects postcards too, but I don't know too many folks.
That's cool. That's cool. So these have not been posted yet, but they're coming up.
They're coming.
Right. They're getting produced.
Well, send me their links and just, I mean, you know, we can push it out on headlines for you.
That'd be terrific.
Super.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. And we're looking forward to having you on the show too, Marjorie. Yes.
Yeah. How did we not get her on? It's been busy. You've been busy. It's hard. Either we're busy or you're busy.
What would I even talk about?
You have plenty to talk about. See, here's the thing. I think everybody has plenty to talk about, and stories and just perspectives on what they've seen in life. That's all we want to hear about. We want to hear the stories.
And that's what we try to tell folks. This is a program that's centered on the person who's the guest. It's not on us. We're not trying to show our knowledge. We want to know about your knowledge and experiences.
So the good thing,
we find the diamond in the rough in some cases there where we didn't hear about it. No one had told us about it. And we simply asked about a few things and discovered it.
The good thing about the way you do your show, if you mess up, you can edit it. So,
well,
like these live streams, oh my gosh.
Well,
I'm surprised we haven't gotten knocked off.
We did start out doing live. Frank, how many live shows did we do? About 5?
Yeah, at least 5. Yeah, I would say maybe 5 to 10. Yeah.
And we realized that there were so few people tuning in live. It was just not worth the effort. But by that time, we had gotten so used to just going, we're not cutting anything.
Right.
So now we rarely cut anything. We can, but we rarely do. Yeah. And it feels good that way. I mean, it's fine to make mistakes. Not everybody has the right word at the right moment. And
we're human.
Plus, working in a hotel lobby, we have some very interesting ambient noises, whether it's dropping suitcases or dishes, or, chatting or whatever happens to be, vacuum running. We've had all these things happen. Yeah. And it's
we roll on. We just keep going.
Yeah, we just keep going. It's fine.
This has given us, though, Marjorie, the year has allowed us to show, I think, who we are. The year is our calling card. We wanted to take the show in a number of directions to challenge ourselves, but to show what we can do. That we did a live St. Patrick's feed. That was a live stream on St. Patrick's, not on the day, but the day of the parade. We did an hour from the Andrew Lowe House Garden right on the Lafayette Square. We had a wonderful time. little history mixed in with that. And, we had very little in the way of notes. We had some, but we didn't, it really wasn't a scripted show. And we wanted to let people know, we're talented enough that we can stand up and describe some things and interact with the event that's happening around us. So that was one thing that we had the opportunity to do. But we've been in a lot of different situations. And it is our effort, I think, to show the folks who might be paying attention that there's a lot more depth to us than we might seem. It's not just any other show. There's a lot going on here, and we can do a lot more.
So here's the big question.
Mm-hmm.
How can people get on your show, All Things Savannah?
Just reach out to us. We do have an email address. Frank,
Let me write it down. What
It's
is it?
mysavannahstory@gmail.com.
Savannah Story
All one word.
@gmail.com.
Yes.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna put it in chat section.
Perfect.
How about that?
Terrific.
Did I get that right?
Awesome. You did get it right. That's exactly how it should be. So that's the way to do it. Just reach out to us in that fashion. We've had a lot of meetings over the last few weeks. We've got more to come with people in the community because we'd like to partner with other organizations and other media outlets to see whether or not, we might be able to form a partnership. We're looking for partnerships. We're looking for sponsorships. We all know in the small business community, you can't just ride on love alone. So you need to be able to finance what you're doing. And we'd like 2025 to be the year that we take this to the next level because we have every intention of doing that. We have the confidence and the ability, and we want to get creative with people who are already maybe circulating in those waters and see what we can lend to the whole thing.
Mm.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to say congratulations on your first anniversary. That's huge, guys. That's
Thank
really,
you.
really huge.
It means a lot from you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we're all here, doing the Savannah hug, as I call it. And,
Yeah.
and you guys will pay it forward with other new businesses coming along throughout.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
We
how it
absolutely
works.
believe that. And we do want to have you on as a guest.
Okay.
Yes.
So expect
Well,
a call soon.
I appreciate it, guys. What website can they watch your shows on YouTube? Actually, I have it down here. I hope that's right. You go to YouTube, All Things Savannah, right?
That's it.
All right.
That's the one. Yeah.
And again, the email address is not only for guests, but ideas. If you have some ideas that we haven't, explored yet,
Mhm.
always open to new ideas, always open to new partnerships.
Mhm.
Awesome. Well, Frank and Danielle, you guys are rocking it. I'm so proud of you. I love seeing small businesses succeed. That makes me really happy. And we'll keep watching. We're excited to see what happens next year too.
You're a major part of everything we're doing. So thank you so
right.
much.
That's right.
I'm grateful. All right, guys. Until next time, see you around Savannah.